Welcome back to the Whiskey and Wisdom podcast. As you know, this month is a fun month. Celebrating, it's November. We're working with a lot of nonprofits, and we're just hanging out there doing the fun thing, trying to get you guys the opportunity to hear about more nonprofits in the local area and hopefully help you pick somebody that you want to invest in and help out. But as per usual, this episode, you got your constant co-host, Chris Kellum, and
Tyler, y'all.
And our special guest today is
Wendy Marsh.
And who are you with, Miss Wendy?
I am with a foundation called the Upper Health Foundation.
Okay. And if that sounds familiar, we had Sarah Ald on, and she's with the Higher Upper. Correct.
The for-profit upper.
Higher Upper, I like that.
Yes, the
Yeah.
Upper.
Yes.
And if anyone is confused, she did start with
Health Possible.
Health Possible. I was like, dang it, she's going to be mad at me that I forgot that name.
Yes.
I've been drinking, Sarah. Don't worry about it. Health Possible. She started the for-profit foundation, which is Upper Health, and then decided to bring it all under the same umbrella, which is now the Upper Foundation, if I'm right.
Yes, correct.
Yes.
Perfect. Okay. Yeah. So to make sure I got all of that correct.
You did, yes.
Perfect.
See.
Because I think when we first brought Sarah on, it was still Health Possible, and she was just starting the upper health. So, so to make sure that we were bringing it all together.
Yes.
Because sometimes I forget when we bring different people on. Because she was one of the first people we've had on the podcast.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
Yes.
and then we brought her on again since then and everything too. So
Yes.
yeah, so we're big fans of the whole Upper family.
Yes.
Thank you.
So,
And my wife is one of the nurses for Upper Health as well.
Thank you for her. We need them all.
Yeah.
so I'm going to start with a hard question.
Yes.
So you're a 501c3.
Yes, sir.
Do you know what that means?
We're nonprofit, and we do not profit from anything that we bring in is for giving purposes.
Oh, okay. Oh, I was asking because I
Yes.
don't know. I always
Yes.
see it, and in my brain when it
It's
says
a different level.
Okay.
There's so many different attributes to it as far as taxes and what you can and can't do.
okay.
And that's why we have a general counsel for that stuff.
That makes more sense. Well, no, because when I see 501c3, my brain always thinks of like when you see a law statute where it's like Section C, Section.
Yes.
So I was just being
That's a
curious.
good
I'm
question.
that person.
Yes.
IRS, that's why you think law.
Oh, well, true.
It's the IRS section.
And that's who we answer to.
Yep.
True.
They're a determining factor.
Outside of me being super silly, can you tell us a little bit more about Upper Foundation?
Yeah, so Upper Foundation, like you were saying, Sarah Ald founded Health Possible back in 2017 and then I came on board with her as the treasurer for Upper Health. Mm-hmm. It gets so convoluted
Yes.
sometimes with health. And then I ran for 4 consecutive seasons with them as treasurer, fell in love with the mission, the passion, just helping people. And then she decided to branch out so we could just utilize Upper in a capacity to help more people and bring
Right.
more people under the umbrella, providers, et cetera. And that was last year of 2023. And then early this year for Upper Health, she came to me and asked if I wanted to step into her shoes in the foundation since I've been with her for so long. And reluctantly, I had to pray over that one for a while. Those are big, big shoes to fill. But humbly, I took the position and have been blessed with it. Upper Health, what we do is we bridge the gap financially for anyone who is able to go through our process of application and be approved on an award system for finances. So we can come in and pay for what they are unable to financially pay for themselves for a more holistic well-being care.
Silly. Sorry. I'm from here, so like I see all the stuff that Upper does, and so holistic foundation. For those people who've never listened to her episode and learn about like what Upper does, and for people who just don't know, you say you're bridging the gap and kind of helping those. So what can you tell us like what Upper is?
Sure. So Upper is the charity care portion of
Okay.
Upper Health. And so what we're able to do is utilize the financial portion of it for charity care to help people pay for that, their bills.
Okay.
Yeah.
Healthcare.
Healthcare.
To be healthier in a holistic life.
Exactly. Your mental, your physical well-being. It can be anything from yoga classes to PT to sports fitness to dietitian, counseling, lactation. I mean, if there's a need, we want to fill it, as long as we're trying to do it in a more holistic way versus surgery versus medicinal.
Right. So is that typically the person that's coming to you is someone that wants to do it more holistically but can't afford it outside of the traditional medical system? Or is there a typical person that's coming to you all that's most likely asking for your services?
A little bit of both.
Okay.
Some people don't know. Some people just don't know exactly what they need, but they know something's not working.
Right.
What they're doing now, wherever they're going to get care. And I feel like, I know Wilmington especially is very driven in the health realm of more of a natural base wellness. And so I think a lot of our patients, clients that come to us are already familiar with, I heard of yoga, I heard of meditation or breathing technique, whatever it may be. So they have a catalyst already that's bringing them to us, but some people have no clue. So that's the beauty of it, is they're being introduced to this whole new world. And they're like, I can get this and not have to take this.
Yeah.
And that's really our goal.
So typically for this month, we're focusing mostly on the organization as opposed to the person. However, I think in this instance, it might make sense to get a background on who you are to why it brought you here, because I think that'll help other people realize why they should be involved in it. So what got you kind of in the holistic world to want to be involved in the Upper Foundation?
Sure. So I've always been very physically active, very health driven. My husband's a physician. Our kids are active. Eventually we'll have grandbabies. Not now, they're not ready. But when they do, my husband and I have always said, foremost, we want to be healthy. We want to be able to pick kids up, play with them, travel. And so that's kind of, for my husband, on this journey of eating better and not trying to take medications when we can possibly take a supplement or maybe yoga, or it doesn't matter, just something that's not the typical Western medicine. And for us, it's working. So when I met Sarah eons ago, and Sarah, that passion and vitality she has, and that just overwhelming, she's a firecracker.
Yeah.
Yes.
I had never really been introduced to holistic before her in that way. We were just kind of doing our own thing.
Right.
So to find out and learn all of these different avenues of how we can feel better and stay awake during the day and not crash after a coffee. And that's kind of been my drive to be more involved. How I got involved with Upper or Health Possible then was purely by accident. I didn't even know Sarah. My husband knew her chair at the time, Chris Deal, and they were friends. And Chris was like, hey, Jeff, you want to be on our board? We need someone who's in the medical field to bounce ideas off of, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, oh, babe, do it. This would be great, So he started doing that, and I was just kind of like, this is kind of interesting. Maybe I will listen in on a couple meetings. So met Sarah on a Zoom, listened in, fly on the wall the whole time, getting excited, feeling that something's happening here.
Yeah.
Something is exciting me. And then finally, and I don't know how this happened, a couple months later, all of a sudden I found myself being voted in onto the board. Like, I'm on the island. And I became the treasurer. And kind of the rest is history. I've been with her since, and then now on our own with the foundation.
Very good. So how are most people finding you now? I do know the holistic health and the functional medicine is becoming more popular in the world now, but how are most people finding you to kind of utilize your services?
Right now, it's really word of mouth. Through the rebranding process to Upper, a lot of people, I think, were unsure of what happened to Health Possible and who's Upper. So going through this past 8 months, new bylaws, I have a new chair, I have new board members, we have new everything. We're at a point now where we need to get back out there. We want people
Yeah.
to know we haven't gone anywhere. We just look different. But now we have a whole new area for people to draw, all the health and wellness benefits from. Upper now is the umbrella to
Right.
us. And so we did do a launch. We did our launch back in August through Hey Good Homes, which was
That's right, yeah.
amazing. We had lots of leads from that. We had a ribbon cutting with the chambers. So, it really did help us get us out there that we do exist, and people, okay, all right, I'm putting the two together. But we're really still in the infancy of marketing ourselves, which is where we need to get to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like that's a hard thing when it comes to like a nonprofit is marketing yourself. And we've talked about it before is one, you need funds coming in so you can help more people, but you unfortunately have to spend money to market yourself and for people to find out for you, because you can't all have, Sarah McLachlan singing sad songs and like getting people. And that's what I always think of, like when people are like, oh, hey, it's a nonprofit. Like I think of those like the pet people and those sad videos, and I'm like, but there's things locally that
Absolutely.
definitely need our assistance and can help other humans and other people who need that.
Yes. Well said.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we kind of touched on what people are asking for when they do get to you, but what is even if there is a typical kind of like person that is coming asking for help, is there that type of typical person, or what do you see more often than not, I guess is the question.
Sure. First off, I think it's most of the clientele and patients that we're seeing are patients who are, for better wording, kind of fed up. They've hit a wall. They don't know what else to do.
Yeah.
Because they're not feeling better, whatever that looks like to them. And so that's a lot of the clientele. And a lot of it is to word of mouth. A patient comes through, gets some great results, continues on, tells somebody about it, and they're like, hey, so-and-so. So a lot of it's word of mouth right now. I think also us as the board, I'm a client. So I have to believe in it, So when we first started this journey and I got involved, I said, I need to believe it. I have some things I could, nutrition, whatever it is.
Right.
So I got a nutritionist just to go through the process, still talk to her now. And it's like the benefits of having that are just outweigh the,
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. So you bring up a good point too. So the Upper Health and Upper Foundation have been brought together to kind of make it one kind of more of a homogeneous type of feeling to it. So I know a lot of people that listen to the podcast that I know specifically, I've already kind of let them know about Upper Health and got them going on that journey. But what's the difference between the Upper Foundation and Upper Health, and how do they kind of come together?
Great question. So like you were saying, Upper Health is where you are going to really go to first before you even get to me. That's where you're going to get the specialized care of getting a nurse who's going to find out, what are you doing? What have you done? What aren't you doing? Who have you seen? Everything that you possibly can talk about as to why you've hit a wall or why you're interested in more of a holistic approach. And then they're going to go into their marketplace and into their provider pool, which is growing every day, which is amazing. And they're going to put together a plan with the patient, not for them, but with them. And then they're going to say, so here, this is what it looks like. And then that's where they say, if you can't really afford that, this is where we have a charity care program come in and help you, because we want you to get results. It's not these two things. We want the full package so you get your full results and meet your goals.
Yeah.
And so that's when they get directed to us, to Upper Foundation, and then we go ahead and it's such an online, easy process. All they do is come in, they put in some demographics, they put in some financial uploads, easy stuff we all do every day, and then I go in, and I don't even have to review it as far as finances go. The algorithm that we have had in place for 8 years brings up based off of tax bracket and gives them an amount right then and there. Immediately they are awarded a percentage of what is their care is going to be covered. So there's just no mystery to it.
Oh, that's really
That's
neat.
awesome.
Yeah, and then there's no waiting either, because
Yeah.
then they can go on with the treatment plan. They can get all the providers lined up. There's a nurse that's going to follow the whole process. So this patient isn't going to be lost between 4 doctors or practices. Everyone's on board of what's happening, and it's paid up front.
Oh, yeah.
So all the providers are taken care of, and the patient can only concentrate on getting better.
I like that.
That's
Yeah,
fantastic.
Yeah.
So I knew there was like a bringing together, but I haven't really talked to anyone or Sarah or anything about how it was kind of brought together to be so seamless. But it's even more seamless than I even knew that it was.
Yeah.
So that's actually really neat.
We want it to be easy for people. We don't want people to have to come to us too and go, okay, this and that person talking and all. We want it to be seamless so that they see you can get care quicker at an easier rate.
Right.
So,
Nice.
yeah.
Very good.
As a nonprofit, you guys do fundraisers or anything like that?
So in the past, we have done fundraisers and events. Our launch was one of them.
Okay.
We also do what we call a secret supper, which we're going to probably start back up again, where people can donate to it, and then once a year they're donating as in a bulk, and then about 3-4 times throughout the year, we partner with a restaurant or a chef here in town, and then we have a night totally pampering those donors or the clients, whoever it is, and they come to a specified home or restaurant, and they get food. Usually there's a band, and it's just a way of saying thank you, but it's also a way of them giving to help. And usually we have testimonies there, and we have patients who have gone through the process, so they can actually talk to somebody and say, well,
yeah.
where'd my money go, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
And they want to see that.
That's
So
smart.
That's important.
Nice. Yeah, I didn't know if you guys had anything coming up or anything like that, because to me, August was like yesterday, and I realized that it was like 3 months ago.
Yeah.
So I was just curious.
We do have in the works, and I think we were just talking that now that our board is completely solidified, we'll be moving forward with getting events back on the calendar, just, pop-ups. And I think we're going to be partnering with more organizations like Alex,
Oh,
fourth
yeah.
trimester. We've done a couple things with them, and just really kind of piggybacking with people, not just to help us, but to help them, especially we're all after the same thing.
Yeah.
Right.
So,
So I have a semi-random question. How does someone get on a board?
so that's a great question.
Because you said you just
Yeah.
filled yours, and in my brain, I'm like, in nonprofits, because we were talking to other people earlier, like, how do you find someone who makes a good fit to be on your board? Because I'm sure it's not hey, let's go on LinkedIn and just fill out. Like, how do you find the right person to?
Absolutely. Great question. Relationships first.
Okay.
I think, most of the time you go into business with anyone, you're going to have a relationship with them, some kind of friendship, you both have a common interest. In this case with my board, all of them have a common interest in already. So our treasurer, he's been with Health Possible from the beginning, donating.
Oh, wow.
Oh.
So he is already vested in it, believes in it. We've done events with him. Same with our chair, believes in us, knew Sarah, came on board. I got to know him. We developed a friendship, really that passion. For me, it was like, do you have a passion for this? Is this, they have to have a passion, because it doesn't make sense. It won't work if their passions don't align with our mission. So that's really it, just relationship, just really building that, and then putting yourself out there a little more and more.
Yes.
Well, since we're 3 weeks into the nonprofit thing, we've talked about board members and everything before too. Probably late in the season to bring it up. But Carolina specifically, you need to have a board for a nonprofit, right?
Yeah.
And I know the reason, but what is the reason for that, and how does that help move the nonprofit forward?
I think it's accountability. There's a lot of accountability when it comes to utilizing people's money.
Yeah.
So having someone who's definitely a chair. So basically for your CEO, you're coming up with these ideas, you're coming up with your dream, the passion, keeping the vision alive and the mission, whereas your board is going to make that happen for you.
Okay.
And you're kind of like the closer. That's kind of I like
Right.
that I'm a closer. But so when you have your chair is really who's organizing everybody, who's going out and doing those events, getting those people together. And then we've got our secretary, of course, doing the meetings, making sure you can't have one person. If you have one person doing it all, they get burnout.
Right.
Yes.
And you want your nonprofit to go the distance, of course, to help as many people as you can. And then you got your treasurer, because all the money. But it's always that you got to make sure people are seeing what other people are doing, the accountability there. So I think that's the main reason why.
So you knew the answer. I was just asking, is that really what it is?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I just wanted to hear it
You're
from
good.
like something different,
Oh.
because no one wanted to hear me talk about board members. My next question that kind of goes involved with that too is, we talked to a lot of people prior, and a lot of what they were talking about is not just the fundraising, but the volunteers involved. So from hearing you a little bit before, is volunteers as important as some other places, or since the providers are doing a lot of that work, is more of the fundraising more of a goal and the aspiration for what you guys are trying to accomplish now?
Do you mean like when we have events, or just in general?
In general.
In general. So in general, I would say fundraising, absolutely.
Right.
I'm speaking only for the foundation.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Gotcha.
So fundraising is key for us, because we're not going to be able to get the volunteers to do our events without it.
Right.
And that in itself is its own, I don't want to say monster, but it's its own, it's this little community that you have to just jump into. And it really is word of mouth. It's getting out there, it's putting yourself, being vulnerable and transparent with what you're
Right.
trying to do, and then also showing them this is what we have done. So it's really important that you are utilizing the funds that we already have to get people help now, so that we can continue to ask for fundraising, show them that their money's being well spent in their community.
I was curious because, like, volunteers make sense in, like, most nonprofits, but when it comes to a health forward one, my brain is like, are you able to get a ton of volunteers on, like, the non-event side because of, like, HIPAA laws, or is it just not?
Oh, sure.
Okay.
Sure. Like at our launch, it was all volunteers.
Oh.
Yeah, except for the catering, of course. But yeah, I mean, like our bartenders were volunteers from some different places, events we have. Sometimes they'll come in, like we've had bartenders from Flying Machine come help us. It just depends on what the event is and what we're needing. As far as pop-ups or getting the word out, like at a fair or something, yes, volunteers are important, because they're passing out your pamphlets, they're talking to people, they're getting people signed up, maybe getting some demographics written down for us. So,
Nice.
yeah.
I was curious.
Yeah.
So one of the questions I like asking, and this may make sense for you to go on their show as well too. I guess not a show, but so it's called 1 Million Cups. It's at UNCW. I'm good friends with Jack. He runs the kind of getting people on and everything too. So I always like to shout out 1 Million Cups. We've done it for a few different things in the past before, and I think it's just a great way to get the name out there. But I like to steal one of their questions.
Okay.
So we always talk about how nonprofits are giving to the community. But for everyone who is listening, a lot of small business owners specifically, how can the community give back to you and help you all grow?
Yes. Great question. It really comes down to money.
Yeah.
I mean, really, because that's going to be what's going to help our patients the most, and be able to put on events to help bring people in, to reach communities in this area and different areas of our community that normally we wouldn't be able to reach. And if they want to partner and come alongside with us, what that means is, so they're going to donate to us, but that means they're also going to be able to be on our webpage. Be kind of an advocate for us. Because if you're donating something, obviously you want to believe in it. You want to believe in that mission. You want to know, hey, I'm donating. This is where my money goes. So I would say that's probably the biggest thing for me with the donors, and asking for the community. And yeah.
Something that Alex actually brought up, and I didn't even think about this, and it's stupid that I didn't, but it is what it is, is people really underestimate the small donors that are signing up just monthly. So even if it's 15, 20 bucks a month, that just having that consistent income coming in. And if anyone has listened to the podcast for the past 3 weeks, they've heard this story, but I think it's important because, like I said, it was something I didn't even think of. Because it's like, what nonprofit's going to need my $10 a month or whatever the case may be? But when you think about it, just the consistency of many people thinking, what's my $10 going to do, can really add up over a year.
Absolutely. And they just said it, they can donate anything they want, and being consistent, it just helps also us consistently be able to help.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, that $10 that you guys can use can help someone get healthier versus the $10 I'm paying towards Netflix, which still has ads somehow, and I'm really only watching like 3 TV shows. Personally, I think you should just go buy them on DVD.
old
I guess
school.
Nice.
I am. That's
I
a
like
whole.
that.
That's a
Whole
whole
podcast.
nother. I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole today, even though I want to. I don't. Maybe people know this. Maybe I don't. As a board member, you guys have real jobs outside of this, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I just want people to realize,
Oh,
like,
yeah,
you were
full-time.
as a nonprofit, like, you guys have to have real jobs. You were putting in your time to help others and help this business, this foundation grow.
Absolutely.
I don't think people realize that all the time.
Yes, all 4 of us on the board have full-time jobs. Yeah.
So I just wanted people
Yep.
to know.
Yeah. So it
'cause
really
I
is a
think
passion project for all of you.
It really is, yeah. And it's, I mean, there hasn't been a time where I haven't come home or on the weekend when I know I want to sit down and work on it that I go, oh, the nonprofit stuff. Never. Never. So,
That's
yeah.
great.
Yeah.
I have a full-time job, then I have a passion.
Right.
Got you. Well, I always think of, like, you see the TV shows and like, oh, there's a board meeting or they're doing this. And I'm like, oh, so like those people are getting paid and it's a board meeting, blah, blah. Like if I'm watching Suits or Billions or something, they have like
Those
a big
guys
meeting.
are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying. It's like people, when they hear of board members, they automatically think of those big people who are just like making tons of money. I just want to bring it to a real life. Hey, no, you guys on a nonprofit board have to have a real job. You're doing other stuff and volunteering your time to help grow a community.
Absolutely. And what's really neat too, in a community like Wilmington, there's so many businesses, like we're sitting in one, that want to help. So they will allow us to sit in like their boardroom, or they'll let us be in, an area where, so it literally like they're already partnering. They're already kind of, oh, who's this upper, But yeah,
Right.
it's all off the clock, but very fulfilling.
Good.
Yeah.
So that leads me into one of my fun questions. What does success look like for your business?
Yeah, absolutely. So success to me looks like I think it just rings true, the same thing I keep saying, is just helping as many people as we can, but also just really knitting ourselves into this community where we're being asked to be on podcasts like this, but people already know who we are. So we have a big crowd out there, and everyone's cheering us on, and streamers are going off, and people are like, I've been there, I've done that. I think that's my goal. I just really want Wilmington to see that there is such a need here, and they have access to a really great tool, and a blessing for us would be to help them. And so I think just having us get out there more and get more donors so that we can help more. But we're here. We are helping people, and if it's just one person, that's one person we're helping right now, and that's exciting to me. But I see big things for Upper. I see big things for our community with us.
So one of my final questions for you going on to the night too, kind of looking back before the success of it, is if you're thinking about that individual that is just fed up with the typical system, the typical healthcare system that everyone's fed up with now, what's one thing you would tell that person before they signed up to look at Upper?
Before they sign up?
Like if before they even found Upper, like what would you tell that person?
Oh, okay, yeah. I would say, well, if nothing is working for you and you're at this point where you're so frustrated, then something's awry, something's wrong. And listen to your intuition and reach out, do some homework, be your own advocate. Don't rely on Western medicine. And I'm not poo-poo. That's not why I'm here. But anytime, you're in charge of you and what goes on with you. And I would just say be your biggest advocate and find some people who are acknowledging that there's something better and bigger out there that can get you healthy in that space.
Yeah.
Because it's available.
You touch on something really good, too, because a lot of people typically go to that Western medicine doctor because they're the expert, right?
Sure.
The one thing that I always like to let people know is it's your body. You are the expert of your body. You know what's right. You know what doesn't feel right. You know what can be wrong. Like, keep going forward. If you're not getting that right answer and it doesn't make sense to you in your head and no one else has been able to fix it, there is a way out there.
Absolutely.
Just because pain and like inflammation may be normal, it's not what the typical term is. It's common, but it's not normal.
Correct.
Yep.
So just because everyone else has experienced that and may be common, it's not normal for you. And I highly recommend reaching out to Upper or just anyone that you feel like can help you in that realm.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Love it.
So is there anything that comes to mind for you that can really help just kind of bring either the donors to come to you or the people that need your help to come to you? Anything that you may want to touch on that we didn't touch on?
Well, we are in the process of getting our own official website. So once that's up and running, I will get you guys that information.
Perfect.
We do have some social media outlets that we do use. If they, the biggest thing is upper.health. We've made it so easy and it's so universal. If you just go to upper.health, Upper Health is on there. Our foundation is down at the bottom. You can click and it takes you straight to our foundation. You can give straight from there. I would just say, come and read about us. Come and talk to us. Try us out.
Yep.
Our email is on there. I get back to everybody. And donate.
Yes.
Come join the fun. It's going places. And especially marrying now with Upper Health, the opportunities that are out there, everyday providers are signing on. And it's just exciting to see how, I was just looking at theirs, and I think there's only over 700 different types of access, whether it's yoga or, physical fitness or whatever it is that you want to do. And like I said, we want to start partnering with more holistic for women's health, like with Alex. So we're getting in some new areas, which is really exciting.
Nice.
Yeah.
And mental health too, right? A big part.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
So we've actually had on a lot of the providers on the podcast too. So pretty much if there's anything health related, mental health, like even like pelvic floor therapy,
Exactly.
or just physical therapy, pretty much if we've had them on, there's a very good chance that they're probably somehow associated with Upper.
Already. That's
Yeah.
correct.
Yes.
Yeah.
I forget about that. We
Yeah.
were talking about how small the world is.
That's right.
And I was like, no, that's just Wilmington.
Yeah.
And we're all connected. My brain just goes, I just looked up and we've been sitting here for like 2 hours and I just now realized that the lights are on a cascade.
I know, it's been driving me nuts
noticed
the whole
that
time.
earlier.
My brain quite literally was like, why is it getting darker? Is the cloud going by? And then I noticed that those lights change color. Sorry.
I'm glad you noticed too.
Okay.
It took me a while because I thought I was going crazy at first.
No.
But
I'm like, I needed some coffee. Something's happening.
right.
But I did want to say thank you for coming on.
Oh, thank you so
And
much for the invite.
You volunteered even more of your time, but it was a blast.
It was my pleasure.
I'm
Thank you
excited to
guys.
send more people your way.
Appreciate that.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it was good because I always knew about Health Possible when that was created, and then I kind of followed the story for Upper Health, but I never really saw the whole situation kind of like come together and how it's married together. So it was great to have you on to kind of see how seamless it is now to go into one and get moved straight to the other if you need it. So if you're out
Absolutely.
there and you've always thought about functional health or more of a holistic way of living, this is an easy way to get into a health system and be moved straight over if you think you can't afford it, because odds are you probably can.
Amen. Well said.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
As
you.
for you guys at home or in the car or at the office, wherever you're at, we'd love it. Like, comment, share, subscribe. If you want, you can hit the notification button. And we do post videos almost every week. But we'll catch you in the next one. Cheers.
Cheers.
Donate.